Cool. Okay, so we're going to finish up the physical symptoms today. I think we're almost done. Last time, I think we got to, what did we get to? We got to the navigation bar. So we're going to have like a dismiss and a submit button at the top. And I think we got partway through, but now I kind of want to go over again and add it again. And so I don't think we had a navigation view last time, which is sort of problematic if you wanted to have dismiss and submit button, because what we're going to do is like it's going to pull up this physical symptoms when we're Reynard's here. Hello, Reynard. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to click a button and it's going to go to this physical symptoms, right? And then we want to either go to the home page if they accidentally like click on the button, or go to the next page after they're done. And so after where you have the ending brackets for navigation view, let me see, sorry, these brackets can get confusing sometimes. Okay, I think it's this one. If it's not, then we can just adjust as we go along. So to add like at the top, the navigation bar. So if we want to add navigation bar items, right? So navigation bar items, oops, sorry. Okay, and then so leading is going to put it on the left, and then going to have leading, and then we want to have a button there so that it goes back to the home page, right? So okay, home, and then originally at the top we had this environment state and this variable presentation mode. So what we're going to do is we're going to, inside of here, we're going to do self.presentation mode dot wrapped value dot dismiss. And this is just going to, like, when you click on physical symptoms and it brings you to this page, and you kind of want to exit the page and go back to where you came from, you can dismiss, and it should work perfectly fine. Okay, perfect. And then we also had a submit button, I believe. So, oops, yeah, comma, and then we had a submit button, and this was trailing, so that means it's at the end. It's still at the top, but it's at the end. And so trailing, and then we're going to have button, and then we're going to have submit, but we kind of don't know where we're going to submit it to yet. So we're just going to have the same dismiss sort of thing right here for now. We can replace it later, but for now, we're just going to have the same thing here. So I'm just going to copy and paste that. And so let's try again. Maybe on the wrong parentheses. Oh, okay, so it should be on the navigation view. So, oops, sorry. Should be one down, I believe. Okay.
One thing you can also do to kind of like organize your code, it's an easy trick. Just highlight everything, Command A, and then you can just do Control I so that all of the indents and everything is all spaced in correctly.
Yes, I'm going to do that. And then I think I also have like an extraneous bracket as well. So
yeah, I would just, let's see. It's probably down at the end somewhere. I feel like you might have a bit too many. Do you have the ribbons on the side so that you can fold your code? No.
Oh, sorry, I don't have the ribbons on
Oh
this.
yeah,
I know what you're talking about, but
yeah.
sorry, I don't have that. It's just so hard
Oh,
to see the brackets.
you can just put your cursor right at the end of one of the end brackets, close brackets, and just look to see if it matches.
Um,
It's probably at the it's probably one at the top somewhere. Let's see.
okay. Should be okay. Expected expression. Oh, I'm missing a parentheses. Sorry. So to close this parentheses off right here, and then I believe it should be good.
It says
Sometimes.
extraneous level.
Oh, sorry.
At level.
Sorry about that. Okay. Expected expression. I cannot click on it.
Yeah, sometimes it doesn't actually show it, but oh,
Sorry.
I think you have an
Oh,
extra button,
oh,
parentheses right there.
um, there we go. Sorry
Yeah,
about that, guys.
there we
I put an extra parentheses right here. Okay, now it should work. When I pull up Canvas again. Oops, sorry. Oh, my bad. Okay, let me editor Canvas. Okay, let me pull up Canvas again, and then we're going to resume, and it should show the home and submit button. Technically, they do the same thing when you pull the page up. Okay, so we're going to press play.
It actually won't show unless you're in the home view for Canvas. And one thing that we can do right now before building it and showing it in the home view, since this is a sheet modal, you can just put down the Z stack colors.
Yeah,
I
okay,
believe.
yeah, I'll do that. For some
Just
reason, I tried this earlier and it was showing it, but that's fine as well. So okay, so we kind of have this like shaded region colored, but we also want to have like this part of the region so it kind of looks uniform, right? And so within the Z stack, we're just going to have color, was it color dot, oops, sorry, dot ignore, let me see. Is it edges? Yeah, it just showed it. Okay, edges ignoring. Okay, I'm just going to wait for it to come up. And then we're going to provide a color within there. And so we actually created our own custom color, as you can see right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy and paste it. Oops, sorry. Copy, paste. And so what this is going to do, it should be filling it in. Oops, sorry. Sometimes it just takes a minute. And so what this is going to do is it's going to fill it up, and we're going to have sort of a uniform. Some view cannot conform to view, only struct. Oh, oops, sorry. Okay, so the color should be in here. All right.
Yeah, and you should also have a dot all in the parentheses at the very end.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
Is it dot?
So parentheses dot all. Yeah.
Okay. It's going to take a minute. All right, and then we got it right here. Okay, so that's kind of what we have so far for physical symptoms. And then we could also sort of change the font because this physical symptoms is a little bit big and it's not completely bolded yet. So if I wanted to, I could go to the Swift UI inspector, and then I could also have the weight or some other aspect of the font changed to like bold, for example. So we're just going to sort of play around with that. And I think that should be it, right? And then we have new symptom. That button works. It pulls up the new symptom file. And I believe that is it for physical symptoms.
Yeah.
Is that correct? Okay. Cool.
There's also like some we can also do later, just making the new symptom button have like an actual shape around it.
Oh,
But
that's right.
yeah,
So we're going to work on the new symptom button. Okay, so if we're going to add a new symptom button, or I mean, we already have it, but kind of make it look nice and presentable, right? So this is the sort of new symptom button. It has a plus right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to add like we're going to add a bunch of stuff like Ellie did in the homepage so that it looks presentable, right? And so one of the first things that we want to do is so we kind of want to give it a background color. Or so if we have a background here, I'll show you guys what the background color. Sorry, I have to open
yeah,
Canvas.
we can use currently it has no background color. It's just the text plus the image. So if we made it a background color, then it could be like blue, and then we can change the
Right.
text color as well.
But I'll show you guys kind of like why you don't want to just have the background color as color blue. So it's not working right now because I haven't finished coding or finished the line yet. So it's going to hopefully load. Okay, there we go. Sorry, it's taking a little bit of time. But basically what you guys are going to see is that it's kind of all blotted out right now, right? And so what we want to do before we do the background color is we probably want to have padding, like Ellie said, so that we kind of have it more centered. And so, sorry, the meeting will end in 10 minutes. So it's got padding. And then we can add a bunch of other attributes to the button to sort of make it presentable. So what that padding did is it kind of like made space between the bottom. Like new symptom was a little bit closer to the bottom, but that padding just brought it up a little bit. And then we're also going to have the foreground color. So foreground color, different than the background color, as you guys can see. And then we're going to have the color dot white, and then, all right, I'm going to wait for it to load. Yeah, I think we have, okay, perfect. And the reason I made it white instead of the blue we originally had it is because if I kept it blue and we have that blue background, you won't be able to see the words. So that's why we have the foreground color as whites. And then we're also going to change the frame. And the reason we had geometry reader at the top is so that we kind of have, we can use the geometry dot size dot width to sort of modify the frame, and it works for all iPhones. Just sort of reminder, I guess. So the width would be geometry dot size dot width, and then how much of the width of the phone we want it to be. So it'd be times 0.5, and then we'll also have the height in proportion. Oh my goodness, cannot spell, sorry. So geometry, and then we also have geometry dot size dot height times, and we obviously don't want it to be as where's the times button? Okay, times as big as this, as it's showing it right now. So 0.063 is what we have. And so if we give it a minute, it'll have a different frame and it's going to be white. And then now all we have to do is kind of add the background color. And then if we want the button to be rounded, we add that corner radius function as well to the end. So background color, background will be blue, sort of to contrast with the light blue we have here. And then we'll also have the corner radius. I think Ellie had it 25 for her button, but I don't think ours needs to be
This
as
one doesn't need to be
steep.
as big, so it's 10.
Yeah, kind of less pronounced than the other buttons. And there we go. We sort of have the new, oops, I have to click play. But if we preview it and it's now active, we click new symptom, it brings up, well, we don't have any new symptoms, so it's just going to bring up, oh, hello, Keith. We're basically done if you're here. Okay, so, and then it's going to print hello world, or not print hello world, but it'll have hello world on the new symptoms because we haven't coded anything for that part yet. And that should be it for physical symptoms.
So you guys might find that there's this one little side right now, but because I'm going to put the simulator and build it. So we're going to be building the simulator and we'll be seeing what we had last time with the home page. And you'll find that the button, even though it's centered, it's grayed out, it's also really short, and there is no title, even though we have a navigation bar title. So there are a few things that we need to fix here. Yeah, if it will show up. But meanwhile, so let's see. So we have this navigation view, and that's why we have a navigation bar title. I actually showed up on this one because we have the navigation view. I believe I might have added that in. And then we also need to reformat things because we would want to add the social and the mental buttons down at the bottom, which I will put in later on today. But so right now, how this works is we have a VStack. So this whole thing is pushed up to the very top because we have a spacer underneath the physical button, right? And so that's why it's not centered in the middle, and that's why it's actually pushed up all the way to the top. And it's also centered in the middle because we have an H stack that has two spacers left and right next to the button. So the button is like sandwiched between two spacers. That's why it's currently centered. And but we want to make it so that it actually fits through the whole way. So one thing that we're going to do first is we are going to add another VStack. Right, and then right now I need to add a bracket at the very end. And then I'm going to tab everything so that it's nicer, right, and clean. Then we also have the, I'm going to reorder certain things. I'm going to make it so that the physical word is now to the left of the image. And I'm going to change the image name to something like, actually we can keep that for now, but I was going to change it to hand.raised, which is an SF symbols, just because this image is actually kind of like representative of a physical like portion of our bodies, right? And so this is what we have. Then I'm going to, okay, there we go. Then so we have currently padding dot trailing, and that's only at the very end, but we want to change it so that it's padding in all directions so that there's a little space in all of the directions. And you guys can't currently see what's going on at the same time because I'm using the simulator and not the canvas, but I will be building afterwards. Then we're going to make the physical button shape have a frame, an actual frame to it. So that frame would have a width of geometry.size.width times 0.3. Right, and so what this is, like we said a few times, so it's just like shows that it's now a third of the screen, or yeah, like 3/10 of the screen, the screen width, whichever screen you're currently on. Right now, this is the iPhone 11. And then we're also going to change a little bit of the values here. These are CG float values. It's called CG float for decimals in SwiftUI, so that they fit a little better. And we're also going to make it so that there's just one padding that's in the very front, dot leading instead of at the top or at the bottom, because now we have changed the position of the image. So let's build that for now and see what we have done. All right. Okay, so now it's at the very top side. And yes, that's because we need another spacer at the side. So so inside the button, or inside the H stack, we have a spacer, so that the spacer is at the very edge. And the reason why our button currently looks like this is because of like the spacer issues. So we will be getting rid of that later, but I will be building that again. So now we see that it looks like this. Okay, and we'll also be doing editing to that. So we have a frame as well for the button itself now. The frame we added was actually to the image. Now it's for the button. So there's actually a difference in the order of where you put this line of code, because it would be modifying different things. So make sure that it's actually either the first, second, or third. Don't go below this third line of modifying the button. Right, and so we're setting a frame for it, so that has a certain height and a certain width compared to the rest of the screen. And then we're also going to be changing the button corner radius, how far it's curved, the buttons are curved, to be 25. And then I am going to be changing the color to be a certain color literal that we have in for the physical thing, right? So this is actually the color that we have that Jacob was showing for the background of the Z stack in the list view, right? So let's add that. All right, okay. Currently, it isn't centered though. And the reason why it isn't is because we need a spacer. So I'm going to be Control I everything so that all of the things are equally spaced out and correct tabs and everything. So right now, this button ends right here. This is the whole button for the code. And inside the VStack, we have the spacer so that it's at the top and everything. And inside that, we have another spacer. I think the spacers. Okay, yeah, this is the reason why we have see a spacer right here, and inside the VStack, yes, okay. So it's not centered. Everything is it's formatted well. We would like a little bit more space between the title and the top button though. So I'm going to add a padding right here. And this one is specifically for the top. We don't need it anywhere else. The sides look fine. And when we actually add in the social and the mental buttons, they will also have spaces. So now this padding looks pretty good, right? And one thing we can also do is we can change it so that the button it has the text has a certain color. And so to have that certain color, we currently have it as black, but we can change it to be a specific color that we would like, which will be kind of a darker shade of gray, so that it doesn't completely match the title. All right, so So that's what we currently have. And if you guys don't have the buttons yet on this, or the ribbons yet on the side, you can do that so that you can fold your code easily and see everything else. I will be adding two buttons, the social and the mental buttons, so that you guys can see what it will look like. And I will be adding two more variables for mental and social so that they match what we currently have for the buttons. Right, so now we have all three buttons. And this one's physical, this one's mental, and this one's social. So once again, when we actually press the button, then the action makes it so that we know the social one is now toggled and it's true. Okay. All right. So that is what we have. So I will be pushing this to GitHub so that you guys can also look at it on your own and download it. Currently, the latest version for what we covered 2 weeks ago is on GitHub already, and I will be doing it right after this meeting so that you guys can also have this. And if we were to click into it, this is what we see, home and submit. So this new button, Jacob can go over that. But it's just basically the same thing. So right now we have a new symptom, and we'll be going over how to have a text view next time, along with typing it in and then so that having it display at the bottom. But all the submit functions and everything won't actually work unless we have core data, unless we use core data, which we'll be going over after winter break. So yeah, so if you have home, then it goes back, and mental and social right now, because I don't have the actual pages for mental and social built in, I just currently have the buttons. They won't have it, but it's just a matter of copying, pasting, and changing the words for mental and social. So yeah,